You all know that I love using those fancy woke media degrees of mine to say things like, maybe don't trust just one specific media source when getting your news, or do you think you're special and your own political bias doesn't impact the way you think media bias is presented? Well, I wanted to show you something. No, it's not my haircut that this commentator on YouTube calls a gay dog whistle, which is weird because it was on a video where I actually hadn't done my hair much like today. It's how media presented the One News polls on Sunday on social media in the 24 hours following the release of that poll. It's really fascinating from a media academic perspective because so much content in the same 24-hour period was shared content framed exactly the same way because it was related to that severe weather event that hit Wellington and caused a shitload of damage. This is shared resources ensuring the same messaging because people's lives are at immediate risk, and this is one of the roles that we as a society expect from our mainstream media, to keep us informed in an emergency. In fact, there would be a massive outcry if that didn't happen, like when News Talk downplayed Cyclone Gabriel. But opinion polls are different. They're a great tool for making headlines, and those headlines are a perfect way for us to show media bias manifesting. The way a mainstream media outlet uses social media is the basis of something that we call the uses and gratifications theory, where an outlet feeds its audience what they've trained that audience to expect, making sure that their feelings are gratified no matter what the reality of the situation actually is. Basically, the spin a media outlet gives something like the polls creates a dopamine hit for the audience whose bias wants to be hand-fed the spin that their chosen outlets give them. So how did the media spin it? Well, One News sensationalized the results. It was all drama and excitement. The polls were a new low, a big shocker, poll shocker, disastrous, and a knock to the coalition. And this is how One News gets clicks on their proprietary data sets that they want to create a narrative agenda around that makes their poll seem like the most important. It follows the theme they led the bulletin with on Sunday night as well. RNZ, though, was much more balanced. Here is an analysis of a crucial week for the Prime Minister after the results. A new poll had low results for the coalition. The PM faces a question or two after a worrying poll. The PM blames leaks on a small number of backbenchers, which he then rescinded his claims. PM accepts he's not liked by everyone. It's all very matter of fact, and that's because RNZ also incorporate into their coverage other recent bad polls. They don't have to see this one poll as the only poll of significance like TVNZ want people to see that bit of data. Then you have the Herald. They frame the poll result around an 81-year-old culture war fanatic who's worried about what's in your pants when you use a public bathroom. But media keeps platforming him like he's not awful and sundowning, while downplaying the response from Christopher Luxon. But the Herald didn't push this anywhere near as much as they did when it was the TPU poll a couple of weeks ago, which said very similar things about how unpopular Luxon was. Then there was News Talk, where they tried to vilify the Green Party while Wellington floods due to the exacerbated impact of climate change, because as we all know by now, wetter wets and drier dries means more damaging damage. They vilified disgruntled MPs complaining about Christopher Luxon. They told their listeners that polls are so fetch and we should stop trying to make fetch happen, that it's silly to talk about national leadership changes while normalising the MP who thinks we need more Christo-nationalism in Parliament and showing racism, while normalising a hard-right racist from Australia and celebrating the government rolling back treaty mentions and laws. Media spin isn't always obvious, and audiences for those outlets not only expect to see the specific spin they're trained to get, they get happy brain chemicals when the spin feeds those biases. And the framing and language used by a range of outlets can give us an insight into what those biases are that they're being trained to shape their worldview with. They're not all sensationalists to push their own content, but some are actively pushing rhetoric which clearly has an agenda outside of keeping you informed of the latest poll results. It's why RNZ will run a story telling you how Shane Jones is saying dumb racist things again, thinking he's clever talking about a butter chicken tsunami in response to the India free trade deal. But the NZME titles, not so much as a peep about this particular issue. And as audiences, no matter our own bias, we need to start getting better at asking why a media outlet is happy to frame news the way they frame it on a platform that is specifically designed to keep us enraged and engaged to sell us to advertisers. Oh, hey there, podcast listeners. Thanks for checking out today's podcast, whether that's on video or audio. I really appreciate it. And I did finally get around to doing a podcast end tag, which I've been meaning to do for a while instead of just taking you onto the Facebook version. So while you're here, why not hit that subscribe button so that you can get updates coming in directly every time there's a new episode uploaded. Just seems like a really simple way to keep up to date with all of the crazy that's going on. So yeah, give that a shot, and I'll talk to you soon.